Guys, welcome back here to Kings of Storm Weekly number 8. We're here in the semifinals between Symbiote Gaming and Cloud9 Maelstrom.
Game number 3.
Game 3.
Yes. Exciting times.
The Kubi.
The Kubi. And?
Solid Jackets.
Egg.
Solid Jack Egg if you prefer.
Solid Jack Egg.
And guys, here we're getting ready for the game. It's going to be on Cursed Hollow. Like you said, Game 3. Lobby is just about set. Just waiting for nothing.
Just waiting for nothing. We're ready to go.
We're actually going to switch on over to our draft screen. Now, two really dead even games coming down to the core being actually under siege essentially at the end of the game for each team.
Yep. And this might actually be the closest that we... No, the first time that these two guys played, it was a super close series.
It was. But this is the first like high-level top, the two top teams of North America in the new beta going head-to-head, and it's dead even, and I can't be any happier because this has been phenomenal.
Well, hold on, Jake. That statement you just made, the top two teams, there's a third one in the mix now. Let's take a look at that bracket, maybe. Do we have that bracket updated?
We've seen some pretty consistent play here out of Cloud and Vortex, and they do advance over
Yes.
Murlocs Inc. to face either the winner of this next game.
Yeah, we could have a Cloud9 only finals. Would be crazy. We actually haven't seen that yet, to my knowledge, unless it happened in one of the other side tournaments. But either that or SMG gets their chance for revenge against Cloud9 Vortex.
Yeah, it's possible.
A lot of drama could be happening here. This could be interesting. So, that said, let's hop back into the draft here because they have started. These guys move quick. We have a ban on Tassadar coming out of SMG. And since this is Cursed Hollow, Tassadar is pretty strong. But they're opting to not ban Stitches. What does this mean?
I think Stitches will be a first pick, honestly.
So they're basically forcing Cloud9 Maelstrom to use their ban on Stitches. It's almost guaranteed. If they don't, then they will absolutely first pick Stitches. SMG will.
It's a very interesting scenario.
Yeah, we see that Maelstrom is taking their time. They're trying to figure out what's the smartest option to ban here. They say if we don't do Stitches, obviously we're giving them Stitches.
Yeah, right.
They do ban Stitches. So how does this fit into SMG's... How does this fit into their plan? Do they want to first pick Arthas? Is that the idea moving forward? Sort of. I mean, I actually feel that first pick gets a huge advantage now, and it surprises me anytime I see a team opting to go second. So they do. They pick up Arthas first. This is exactly what we were talking about before. Since there's only really two strong warriors viable, if you're first pick and you don't ban one, you force them to ban the other, and you pick up the first one, or you can ban one, force them to ban, so that no one has a warrior. There's a lot of...
It's a crazy... so there it is. There's the ban Stitches.
Ban Stitches and the pick on Arthas. It's strong. Now, that said, you do give them whatever two strong range carries that they want. They can go... Vala Kerrigan, as we see here, but Vala is almost always picked up immediately afterwards just because, she had very few changes, if any at all, in the last patch, and she's been strong as a DPS carry. Now she's just as strong as the others because Falstad has moved around a little bit. I imagine that we'll see Falstad probably picked up on SMG to counter this a little bit, but Kerrigan though.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice though because this means Kerrigan not only wasn't banned, but you don't have to worry about Kerrigan Arthas. So when you see Arthas picked up, you don't want to worry about Kerrigan Arthas with Glaurung and Soldier.
Yeah,
that's a scary
very,
thing.
very good point.
It's kind of like, well, we can't let them have that because they demolished us in game 1 with that, and we know how scary, how used to Glaurung is playing with an Arthas player. Yeah. So that's kind of just way of saying, look, let's not give that to them. I still think this opens up the doors to Thrall, but Thrall was kind of dealt with really well in that last fight, and look at this. Glaurung is currently sitting on Tyrael as they pick up Nazebo Tyrael.
What? They're going off tank. This is cool. So we do see this is something that has developed in the Korean meta, and a little bit in the European meta, where they sort of run a tank, an off tank, maybe a DPS, like an off DPS, and then a healer. So this is sort of pointing in that direction. You're going to have Arthas, which does most of the damage soaking and peel, but you have someone who can dive in as well to pick out targets, etc. So first time we've seen, I think Tyrael picked up alongside another tank. Should be very interesting to see how they approach the rest. If they're going to go Sanctification, Judgment, hard to say.
Yeah, well, Zeratul, Brightwing are the responses here. So Zeratul, obviously having the Void Prison is really nice. They have a lot of setups with that. And Brightwing, but they're going to need a tank. Now, I like this because, like you said, picking up the off tank, when Arthas and Stitches were both picked up, we've seen Cloud9 Maelstrom lean towards Tyrael as their tank. And by actually stealing that really just leaves Muradin, and there it is. There's Muradin. So Tyrande is going to be played again. This is so...
Welcome to the beta, folks!
This is so different. This is so different. Tyrande, Nazebo, Uther, Arthas, and Tyrael.
This is just total craziness today.
If only Tychus was here, we could have the Ty team. Tyrande, Tyrael, Tychus, but... No Tychus here in our tournament. That's something we should just bring up again. We haven't said it in quite a while. If you guys are just tuning in, Tychus is globally banned due to a bug with his auto attack and his Q.
Yeah.
And so there's no Tycho here in our event. And this is a weird little roster. Looks like they're debating who's going to be playing Uther. I assume it'll be Dread.
So, oh my gosh, I don't even... Yep. Where's their damage for SMG?
Ravenous.
Yeah,
Tyrande. Do you remember the Tyrande's damage?
Yeah, she did have very good damage the game she was playing.
It was a very different Tyrande style than we're used to seeing, and it seemed very powerful. And I don't know if we'll see Sanctification. Judgment still is very good. So if they Judgment in on a target with Ravenous Spirit and then having Tyrande just blowing people up, it's weird, but we're going to find out.
Yeah, Starfall is good for zoning out tribute spots and boss fights. We saw that before. Actually, it was on Cursed Hollow as well.
Yeah,
so,
it was Cursed. I think that's really the map where we're going to see Tyrande.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they try to play around the same style, but going that battle momentum, etc. Craziness. I never would have expected. Looking at all the patch changes, I wouldn't have expected Tyrande to be that hero that just all of a sudden takes a jump up in a bit of popularity here. I mean, we've seen Atlanta play Tyrande in the past, but he's really the only one, and this is the first time I've seen SMG go for it.
Yeah,
well.
In the past, no, we've never seen Symbiote play Tyrande. Arthlon likes to just try weird stuff, and so does Soldier, but it's always Arthlon kind of like pioneering these weird things.
Right.
First time we saw Zagara play competitively, it was Arthlon.
Yeah.
Same kind of deal. So it's not that SMG is the only team that innovates, because Nazebo was definitely innovated by Cloud9, but still some cool stuff coming out here. Now, we're gonna have, this is game 3, guys. This is to qualify here for the grand finals of Storm Weekly 8. So it all comes down to this. And I gotta say, with this new addition to Glaurung, the Money Pig synergy has been pretty poor.
Yeah, their mount synergy is just they all have a completely different mount. Except no, it's 2 Money Pigs. Okay, 2 gold Money Pigs. Gosh, get it together, guys. That said, let's introduce the teams here. On the blue side, for Symbiote Gaming, we have Dreadnought on Uther, Arthlon's going to be playing Tyrande, Glaurung on Tyrael, KO on Nazebo, and Soldier's going to be playing Arthas.
And on the other half of the map for Cloud9, we have Dunk Train playing as Kerrigan. Biceps going to be on the pink Vala, riding the pink Billy Goat. Zuna is going to be playing Zeratul, Kenma on Brightwing, and last but not least, Caffeine is going to be playing as Muradin. Now, it's going to be an interesting game, because I can almost guarantee you when Cloud9 was going through the draft, they said, okay, we'll play Tyrael as our tank. And like I said, we have Glaurung playing Tyrael, which is new to me. Obviously, all these players have very well-rounded hero pools, but it's going to be an interesting game, that's for sure.
So, yeah, I was looking through the talent choices. I didn't see anything that was too crazy. Soldier is poked out pretty far.
Yeah, it's being real cheeky, but actually Tyrande, not typically really something you think of as a healer, is getting a lot of use as a healer right now. And Dunk is so low.
The owl.
Hedwig. He's in the corner. No,
I mean, that's such a weird place to hearth. Yeah. I mean, it was a good guess, though.
There was the first blood on Zeratul during all of that, as he did in fact fall there. But we had to watch for the Hedwig. It's too exciting.
Of course. Zeratul took block level 1. Not that, I mean, like, his level 1 talents are okay. You're either going to go for the extra range on Cleave, or you're going to grab the cooldown reduction on Blink.
Yep.
That's fine. So, I mean, those aren't, like, super strong, because the cooldown reduction is actually kind of small. It's just a level 1 talent. But block is something that, I mean, just a bit of a strange choice, I guess. There's no, like, super heavy auto attackers on the other team. We had Tyrande and Tyrael a little bit, but just not something we're used to seeing. And on top of that, we have... I guess this one's not as odd, but for Muradin, there's the Perfect Storm, which is every time you hit a hero with the Q.
This is really scary.
Yeah,
for
that's
Arthlon.
weird.
But nicely done there. Just throwing throwing the combo down, even though it doesn't hit, making sure the Hunter's Mark is there, just because if you do land it, that's like a guaranteed kill. With Soldier, they're having the Howling Blast for the follow-up, but it does nice little juke there. But yeah,
gosh, every member of this team has some kind of lockdown. It looks like Nazebo was picked off in the top lane there. Sorry, we missed that for you guys. But yeah, I was just saying, there's some kind of lockdown for SMG. I mean, Uther's got Hammer of Justice. Oh gosh, these guys are just going in.
Yeah,
they don't stop.
this triple lane in the top. Now Tribute is in fact going to be up before too long here.
Yeah.
And we're at the 2-minute mark. Both teams level 4, and we can look at the talents here. We have the 1 Envenom on Kerrigan. We have Protective Shield. The multi-shot build coming out here. Sledgehammer, so the siege it in, if you will. Gathering Power, and on the other half, Coobs.
And yeah, we have Protective Shield. Did you already talk about SMGs?
No.
Sorry. Okay. All right. So we have Protective Shield coming out for Uther. We have Plank for Tyrande. Amplified Healing on Tyrael. That's actually kind of interesting. Gathering Power and then
the big engagement, the Howling Blast into the Lunar Flare. We see the Healing Ward going down. Dunk Train gets low, dives back in. Zuna is going to end up falling here, and Dunk is also very low. Frozen Temp is just doing a lot of work in general. Glowering goes in, and with the Aldruin's Might?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And
nice.
A nice little hammer there to zone this out. But with 2 kills, this is going to be a tribute here for SMG.
Yeah. That's actually probably just to power up his his Q there, to be honest with you. Every hero he hits, he gets an extra 5 damage permanently for the rest of the game. So anytime he has it off cooldown and he's got the mana for it, you may as well. Yep. There it is again. So before long, he'll have like, plus 100 damage or so to it. And it's a good chunk of damage in terms of that spell. So.
Well, we've got our 2 supports, if you will, in the bottom lane, even though we're not going to see a very support style. Yeah. Looking at Tyrande, opting for the healing, where Nazebo ends up getting kicked off again here. Yeah,
they've been doing some heavy rotations to that top lane. Very scary. Nazebo just really all he can hope for at this point is to hopefully throw down a zombie wall that catches the rest of your assailants off guard, but other than that, there's no way to get out.
Yeah. It's very interesting that Tyrande is actually being played as pseudo support, though, because that's not something we even saw. The other game we saw in Arthalon was not played that way. We didn't actually see Healing Ward. So it's going to be cool to see the diversity in this match in terms of the styles, because both of these compositions are far from traditional.
Yeah.
Just
nice Owl going in there. Yep, absolutely.
Hedwig doing his job. Tyrael Glaurung is on his way down. 5 members here for Cloud9. Symbiote does have the disadvantage. Aldruin Might will be used to engage. There it goes. Lunar Flare hitting Dunk Train in the background. He's going to fall. Soldier is getting super low, but he ends up falling as well. Zuna backing up with first aid. The Dwarf Toss is used to get him out. Oh, the Hedwig hits, but it's nowhere near enough damage.
Gosh, how do you follow this fight? There's just people splitting off, going everywhere.
Yeah.
And it looks as though SMG was able to push Cloud9 Maelstrom back far enough. They did trade kills, but they had an overall higher health pool at the end of that trade, so they were able to push them back, take this tribute. And they find themselves up 2-3. I mean, 2-0 right now. 2 out of the 3 tributes that they need for that curse. No real sizable experience laid for either team, but we know for a fact that Cloud9 Maelstrom is going to have to get aggressive for this next tribute. And another pickup on Nazebo that we missed. Once again, we're just going to have to keep our camera glued on this guy.
I'm like trying to analyze the talents, but kills just keep happening, it seems. Look at that, getting
Zuna.
He's
going to have to blink over the wall. Where does he go?
He can't blink over the wall. It's too far for his range. So Zuna is actually in a weird spot. 3 seconds now to recloak. There's the recloak, but Arthalon is here hunting away.
Does he have enough?
Yeah, okay,
He
gets out.
Pretty cheeky. Well done from Zuna there.
So battle momentum, we're seeing that once again here. Amplified healing on Tyrael. So they're going double tank and they're going extra tanky. So they technically have 2 players that can heal pretty well and 2 tanks. So it's kind of a sustained comp with damage in there, from both Tyrande and Nazebo. I think we'll definitely see Starfall.
It's weird. It's weird, man.
It's unique for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to mention is that they know for sure the Cloud9 Maelstrom has to go for this tribute, and like they have the option, SMG does, to go for one of the bosses if they so choose. They're not going to take their own because it's a little bit too close to the tribute, so it's likely they're going to fight over it like we see here.
Oh, but Biceps just gets blown up instantaneously. He was too far forward away from the rest of his team. He knew he had to try to solve that tribute, but it cost him his life, and they get the tribute anyways.
I'm sure he's getting yelled at for that one. He just went a little bit too far forward. Yeah. And of course on this map, once the 3 tributes have been collected for one team, they are granted a curse. This causes all of the structures on the enemy team to no longer fire any of their ammunition, and their creeps have 1 HP each. So as you can imagine, there's some strong pushing that will come out. We do see a bit of a rotation collapsing in on SMG here. Yeah,
but 3 melees coming from different angles they choose. They're just going to power it down. Dunk Train. Brightwings is phase shifting in, but it's not going to be enough. Strafe in the background. Do they have a stun available for it? No, it's getting a lot of work done. Ravenous Spirit coming down, but gets interrupted instantaneously by King Caffeine. But look how low they are. The Lunar Flare hitting both Tuna and Kenma, as Kenma got moved over from the Casta side, I believe. Or maybe it was Blink Heal. Actually, level 10 was attained here, so maybe that was the case. But pretty crazy stuff. The Lunar Flare is going to be juked, and it's going to be a fallback from SMG to their boss here.
Wow. That was Zuna almost died like so many times during that fight. We just saw Tyrande just hounding him with those auto attacks there.
Yeah, that was Blink Heal. So Blink Heal in, and it got hit by the Lunar Flare there. We see Strafe, we see Maelstrom, we see Avatar and Void Prison on the other half, Corey.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So then we have Divine Storm, Starfall, which we saw actually was really helpful in getting Uther out of that last fight. Judgment, of course, Ravenous Spirit, and Army of the Dead.
Oh, so Zuna is way out of position. They ping there. They see him there. Helping hand.
Yep.
You see, they're just like, look out, look out, look out. Let's back up here. We don't want to get Void Prison out of position here.
Yeah,
actually, Void Prison's on cooldown, so still worried though. They don't want to be surrounded in a weird spot.
Yeah, and I think we might actually see both teams sort of retreat back and take their respective golems. And yep, they're taking their knights first. So we're going to see golems trading here, but SMG is going to be that much closer to grabbing level 13. Will they be able to use these talent advantages? The big one being Cast Aside at level 13. That one's probably the one that will have the most impact on the rest of these team fights. Rewind is pretty nice for Tyrande too. So
yeah, Rewind is great, but and it will likely be the option here. There are a few other things you can grab, but Rewind, of course, having double owl, having double heal, double everything is very, very good.
I mean, if they can find themselves at that 13 tier talent and pick a fight before Maelstrom does, that's no rewind for Kerrigan, no rewind for Brightwing, so also Muradin as well. So they should, if they can grab it, it looks as though they don't have that much of an experience, but if they could have grabbed that fight before then, it would have been a huge positional advantage.
One thing I want to point out is during all this, SMG has been rotating together between Merc camps, and Cloud9's just kind of been posturing around, making sure they're soaking at least 2 lanes. So they were down in experience, now it's dead even.
Right.
And that's actually just a really
nice...
it's
the right play to make, especially when we were talking about that critical level 13. They don't want to be caught in a fight without it. So that's making the smart play here, the safe play.
Oh, but this is
Dreadnought.
A scary situation for Dreadnought. 4 members
does have
here
sprint
in the top lane. He does have sprint. Does he have to use Divine Storm? Nope. He's going to be able to just back behind the wall and he's fine. So hard rotation.
Hit level 13 to give him that sprint. That was exactly what he needed to get out of that situation. Scary rotation, I will say that.
Yep, double sprint here, relentless, cast aside, and rewind.
And the double rewind for Kerrigan, Muradin, and triple for Brightwing as well. We predicted that Frost Shot, and the wormhole for Zeratul. Pretty standard picks, I will say. Both teams back up. They are going to just trade golems here. And there is a tribute available.
Yeah,
so
positionally, this is actually more beneficial for SMG because their golem is pushing in the bottom lane.
It's so much further away from the tribute fight that's about to happen here. So essentially, SMG can, if they just decide to take this tribute fight, they can cap it, and then they have a quick walk over to defend that golem. And C9, though, they have a much further walk to get there.
And they have to do just that. They have to forfeit the tribute, go back, defend the golem, while SMG not only gets the tribute, but they can defend their golem very quickly.
It's such a bad spot for Maelstrom, though, I got to say. Just positionally, things aren't... They haven't taken a single tribute yet, and they're really going to have to start, like, as soon as those tributes come up, they got to devise a plan, to get positionally in the right spot. That's just sort of been the story here, is that the position has just not been so good for Maelstrom to start of these fights.
And this fort is going to fall right quick as 5 members
quick
have nothing to contest them here. Here it goes, blowing it up. The golem took out the wall, but not the towers. I don't think there's any mule for
No, it's not such a common pick on this map. If anyone was going to grab it, I'd say
Nazebo's the only
option.
Yeah,
Nazebo probably, but Gidbin is just so useful here.
Now Dunk Train in the front line here. Soldier did not see him, so this is a scary situation, but the Ravenous Spirit is going down. We see Caffeine immediately going back to disrupt it, but that Lunar Flare, the combo there, just blow up Kerrigan was so precisely executed.
Yeah, that actually, now that I think about it, the Ravenous Spirit and then the Material Judgment to go in, like that person stuck there for a little bit, just eating shots from that Ravenous Spirit, so very scary. No surprise that they were able to, with that combo there, take that fight.
I gotta say though, the increased range on Dwarf Toss makes Muradin an even better counter to Ravenous Spirit, and actually the weight, that worked out really well. It was really clean, but Ravenous Spirit still did enough work.
Jump in, rewind, stun, jump out.
Yep. Kenma's taking a lot of damage, and Zuna is going to get Divine Storm cast aside, but he ends up getting out anyways. Nicely done there. Void Prison locks down 3 members of SMG, but will they have a strong enough initiation on this?
We saw that cleanse really saving Kenma there on the Brightwing. It's not something you see picked up from Brightwing all that often, but that really got him out of that Howling Blast. It's pretty heads-up play there. It's good.
Army of the Dead was kind of wasted there, but it's safe to use. You never know what they're going to do. He had just been polymorphed, and he thought he might be in a worse situation.
Right.
But, man, I got to say, Healing Ward is ridiculous. Like, it's just looking at the stats here, I mean, Tyranda's not really something that we look at for healing, but she's actually out healing Uther. And that's kind of insane. She actually has the second most healing in the game, more than Uther right now, but still having solid damage in the game as well.
Yeah, craziness. This Tyrande pick is, again, not something we're used to seeing, but it's working out for them right now. They do have the definite structural advantage with the top and bottom forts gone. No forts have been taken yet for Cloud9 Maelstrom.
Not a single fort, like you said. Knights here being picked up by SMG as well. In terms of vision right now, you know, Maelstrom's in a good spot. They have both the watchtowers, and they're soaking all 3 lanes. So they're going to hit 16 at the same time as Symbiote, even though it's 7 kills to 4.
Right.
They're just managing to soak incredibly well. But they still need to get a better team fight.
Yes, and yeah, it's going to come down to that positioning. And there's just so many things that SMG has available to them to disrupt all that positioning. There's stuns, there's Judgment, there's Lunar Flare, Hammer of Justice, Divine Storm, Zombie Wall, Howling Blast. There's just so much stuff available to SMG just to, like, you know, really mess with the spacing that Cloud9 Maelstrom might have to start of a fight, and they really have the spot that they want here.
Oh,
really nice owl!
He disrupts it.
2 out of 3.
Kenma is still doing it though. Dunk Train is taking so much damage. The Void Prism there is used on the Ravenous. Now it doesn't interrupt it. It just stalls it out for a little while. The Ravenous will re-engage, but they're going to be well out of position, so he has to cancel it anyways. Now we have this big fight happening. King Caffeine is being backed up here. Blink kill for Kenma to try to get out. The stun on Soldier. Soldier's trying to get in, but Zuna is in a terrible position. Now he does have Blink, and he's going to try to back out here. Look at this! The Starfall! Like, Arthlon is so far forward, but it doesn't even matter.
He has no Blink. He can't get out.
Oh, the stun there, and they're going to get Zuna. So they got a tribute, finally.
Yeah.
But
it cost them a little bit. 2 arrows, it's a big deal at this point. This is probably going to allow them to move up here to clean up this middle fort. King Caffeine is actually in a little bit of a weird spot. I mean, of course, he has the Dwarf Toss to get out, but
very aggressive position here from SMG.
Yeah.
They have every right to be in this posture right now. They're just pushing forward, taking out these towers, and with Caffeine zoned out, it looks like he's just trying to pull them away. But SMG is not interested in trying to chase a dwarf that can leap all over the map.
Yeah. How do you feel about this position that he's put himself in? It's like really far back.
Yeah, it's
not really sure what he was hoping to get out of that situation.
He was just trying to stall them out for his team to get there, making sure the fort didn't die. Honestly, Murden can do ridiculous things with Rewind and Dwarf Toss. It's a lot of resources to spend, but you can, especially on this map, he can be so hard to catch.
Yeah. So we got a little bit of downtime here. We can talk about some of the level 16 talents before this this tribute pops up here. For SMG side of things, we have Hard Focus out of Uther, somewhat standard pick. Ranger, that's the increased width and travel distance. Or the damage increased on travel distance there. Blood for Blood, Specialized Toxin.
Oh no,
And,
Zuna.
we'll talk about it a little bit more after this.
Yeah, Zuna, like, immediately he had to use pretty much every. Oh my god, I mean, everything SMG is doing right now. That was a really nice juke. Now with I don't know, Dunk Train's positioning right there was very interesting. He used the Maelstrom. He thought he was in a bad spot. His team was in no position to engage.
Yeah.
Cooldowns were used on both Dwarf Toss and I think Blink was used as well. So just everything about that by Dunk was just kind of the wrong call. Now I think it was kind of desperation knowing he was in a good spot. Soldier very aggressive here. Army of the Dead will keep him alive though. Starfall going down, forcing them to zone in every way. And yeah, I mean, they're just actually split up here, chasing and picking up the boss with the curse active.
Yeah, this is SMG's second curse here. They're going to get a lot of push out of this, especially if they can pick up this kill on Zuna here. I don't know what his blink cooldown looks like, but he's blinking right in. He's going to have to wormhole out.
No,
he's hoping that Soldier will go too far. No, he's just dead. Okay. Not a good position at all for Cloud9 Maelstrom. I think that necessarily doesn't need to be said, but they're going to be able to back up and take their own golem. I imagine they will. This will just give them a very, very secure position on the map. It's very passive play, but it's still quite strong, that said. So
now Glaurung going to look for that Brightwing, but it's not going to be there by the time he gets there. He's just going to clean up those giants. Yeah. Like you said, picking up this golem here. They didn't really get a lot done with the curse.
No, but they're securing their spot on the map.
Right.
I mean, golem is a big, large contention point on this map. So especially with the Zeratul, you know, it might be maybe try and get steal on that, etc. Having both golems pushing out, etc. It's going to be a tough spot for Maelstrom to come back from, I would say. It's definitely doable, but SMG looks very strong map position-wise.
I mean, this series has been dead even constantly.
Yeah.
Having Brightwing in this bottom lane soaking actually is a big deal, because not only did it keep the bottom lane from getting pushed by the curse, but it gave them that additional soak to keep up in levels. And the levels, I mean, the story is there. Even though SMG's been winning 11-4 kills, you know, it's been, what, 6 tributes to 1. Yep. Like, they've had this constant aggression. This structure advantage is huge, and the Merc camps are all in their favor. But still, they're soaking so much better than SMG.
Yeah,
to help
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The soak is there for sure, but they need to devise a better plan for taking these team fights. It's always been SMG for these team fights. You can see it in the kills here, and it's so scary the amount of CC that they have available to them. Like, even though they don't have the amount of damage output that you would think would be critical to win these types of team fights, they're still making it work really well just because they're able to chain all of their CCs together so nicely.
Void Prison hitting 3 members of Symbiote. This is their chance. Ravenous Spirit is
I'm not sure about that
and
one.
KO has to fall back. Starfall hitting the edge there, but that Judgment was absolutely massive. The 3 members are going to end up dying because of that huge initiation.
Wow.
Tyrael is back, boys, because we haven't seen him in a while, but I'm telling you, he is just changing team fights. Cast aside, pushing him back. The Lunar Flare just clipping King Caffeine. We're going to just see him get annihilated. Cast aside once again. We have battle momentum on both Tyrael
Wow,
and
nice
Tyrande.
trade actually from Zuna if he gets out. No, he doesn't manage to.
It's a nice
and that's going to be
trade,
the end of the game.
but
SMG will likely be able to advance to the grand finals here. Wow, that Judgment and Divine Storm combined together there. Dreadnought actually got a really nice one. He picked off, I think, 4 members of Cloud9 Maelstrom, and then we saw the excellent target there from the Judgment. Like, really, look at
Tyrande, a low-tier hero in a lot of people's opinions, or mid-tier at least, topping the damage on the side of Symbiote and actually keeping up in healing.
Yeah.
Insane stuff there. Here's the builds, guys. Check out the builds. Make
Yep.
sure you screen cap that because the game's just about over here. You thought, Corey?
I really thought that the Zebo, when he initiated there with that Ravenous Spirit, I was like, this is not going to end well for SMG just because he immediately had to cancel it, sprint, run away, but it just gave Dreadnought the perfect position to run in there, get that Divine Storm, and then everything that just followed up immediately after, because the rest of the team was coming out of that Void Prison there. They had everything off cooldown. It got ugly real fast. Real fast.
What a cool composition out of Symbiote.
Yeah, that was really neat.
A hard-earned victory versus Cloud9 Maelstrom, who put up some awesome games.
Yeah.
That series was actually just insane.
Yeah, it was really good stuff, and I mean, congrats to SMG for moving on, but that said, Cloud9 Maelstrom, like, they did a really good job. We saw some cool stuff out of them, but some even weirder compositions and strategies coming out of SMG too. I'm so excited to keep casting for this beta here because these strategies are going to keep developing, and we're going to see hopefully even more diverse hero pools as we move forward. But yeah, really exciting. So like we said, SMG is going to move on to the finals versus Cloud9 Vortex. That is the other half of the Cloud9 division for Heroes of the Storm. And these guys, did they play 2 weeks ago in Kings? I forget which, or maybe it was one of the ESL finals. But
yeah, I believe
it was the ESL monthly final.
It was ESL monthly final,
That's
and
right.
Vortex won 2-0. It was a best of 3 series, a monthly final, and Cloud9 Vortex took that tournament.
So we get a rematch. SMG is granted the rematch. They get their chance to prove that they can beat Vortex. So yeah, I think we'll get that set up for you guys. We'll go to a quick commercial break, and when we're back...
Yeah, we're actually going to take about a 5-minute break. SMG is allowed a 5-minute break as Vortex has been sitting waiting for their match. So they're just going to take a 5-minute refresher. So guys, this is your chance to go grab a snack, go grab some water, whatever you want to have for the Grand Finals here. Tell your friends and family to check it out. Send out those tweets about the Grand Finals here for Kings of the Storm Weekly number 8, because this is the first beta tournament we have North in America, and these games have been sick.
Yes, and I can imagine they're only going to get better, so please, guys, stick around for this Grand Finals. It is going to be super exciting.
Stay tuned.